The women who followed hippie cult leader Charles Manson are coming forward 50 years after the gruesome murders that shocked the nation during the summer of 1969. Oxygen is airing a new 2-hour documentary titled Manson the Women on Saturday, August 10th, which aims to explore how one of the most daunting madmen in American history charmed his way into the lives of the women who formed his family. It features interviews with 4 women who belong to Manson's circle, including Diane Snake Lake, Catherine Gypsy Share, Sandra Blue Good, and Lynette Squeaky from Me. Members of the Manson family, as his followers were called, slaughtered 5 of its victims on August 9, 1969. Actress Sharon Tate, who was 8.5 months pregnant, coffee heiress Abigail Folger, celebrity hairdresser Jay Sebring, Polish movie director Wojciech Frykowski, and Stephen Parent, a friend of the property's caretakers. The murders took place at Sharon Tate's home while her director husband Roman Polanski was out of the country at the time. The next night, a wealthy grocer and his wife, Leno and Rosemary LaBianca, were stabbed to death in their home across town. The killers scrawled such phrases as pigs and a misspelled helter-skelter in blood at the crime scenes. The anniversary of the murders has sparked several films, including The Haunting of Sharon Tate and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Manson, a petty criminal who had been in and out of jail since childhood, surrounded himself in the 60s with runaways and other lost souls during the heyday of the hippie movement in California. Though he was in his mid-30s, Manson began collecting followers, mostly women, who linked him to Jesus Christ. Most were teenagers, and many were at odds with their families. Diane Lake, who became the youngest member of the group at age 14, was raised by hippie parents and met Manson through her mother, who had befriended him while he visited a house farm commune. She was instantly smitten by the charismatic Manson, then 34 years old, who played guitar and sang songs. Lake's parents granted her permission to live on her own, and she instantly joined the family. Charlie was extremely loving and I felt welcome, she recalled. He took me in that night and he made love to me like I never experienced it before, in a way that made me feel like a woman. I remember thinking that I wanted Charlie to only love me and marry me. I was disfranchised. I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere, and they invited me to come live with them, so I stayed with them. Manson was arrested 3 months after the murders. After a trial that lasted nearly a year, Manson and 3 followers, Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Leslie Van Houten, were found guilty of murder and sentenced to death. Another defendant, Charles Tex Watson, was convicted later. All were spared execution and given life sentences after the California Supreme Court struck down the death penalty in 1972. Atkins died behind bars in 2009 at the age of 61 from a brain tumor. Krenwinkel, Van Houten, and Watson remain in prison. From Me tried to assassinate President Gerald Ford in 1975, but her gun jammed. She served 34 years in prison and was paroled in 2009. Manson died in 2017 after nearly half a century in prison at the age of 83 from natural causes.